You're listening to a Pop House Network podcast for developers by developers.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Stackd podcast, episode number 77, recorded on April 11th, 2025. We finally got to the second episode of the year in April. Woohoo!
Yeah.
This is progress. So hopefully the first episode has come out by the time this one comes out. And it's now April. I have had a sort of hellish couple of months beyond the drama worldwide. So I'm glad to sort of get back into this. And honestly, like I'm still recovering from everything this week because I was at a conference last week. Unlike our guest, I don't travel all the time, but and I was like, oh man, we have to do the podcast. And I was like, a podcast is actually really fun to do. So I'm very glad we're doing it. Also, we got to reschedule this like 3 times. So so we're here with Josh Juno and Daniel Inahosa. Hey guys.
How's it going?
Sorry, I was just rambling there for a second. So what have you guys been up to in the last 3 months?
I went to France.
Oh yes, how was your vacation? You actually had
that was good. Yeah, had a blast. Went to Nice. I call it nice, but that's because I'm American. And but the locals call it Nice, and that was great. And lots of wine. Oh my gosh, lots of wine, lots of great food. Didn't want to leave. Like I was ready to hold on to a tree and just hang out for dear life there and see who challenges me. But yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then I'm going to head over to GIDS, the great, it's now called the Great International Developer Summit next week. So I have, is it 7 or 8 presentations? So looking forward to it.
And as we were talking earlier, I remember you saying that you don't have nearly as many presentations as Dr. Venkat Subramanian.
Yeah, he does every slot. On No Fluff, we call it the Royal Venkat. If you do every slot in the conference, it's called the Royal Venkat. It's a full Venkat. But the Royal Venkat is when you do all slots and the keynote, and that'll be the Royal Venkat. So got those in reverse, but yeah, we have a name for that.
So 7 talks is a lot, though. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm really curious. You were pretty
Mine are going to be stay ahead with Java's latest features, and then from domain-driven design to delivery, GitOps from commit to deploy, ports and adapters architecture, vector API, security architectural patterns, foreign function memory interface, and the fine art of canary deployments.
I saw you doing that canary one at some other conference, and I was like, oh yeah, good old canary deployment.
That's a fun one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds like some good ones.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Mr. Juno, what have you been up to?
Oh, just lots of the same stuff. The kids are now doing track, so the spring track season has begun, which is good. Lots of running, and also working on remodeling kitchens. So that's taking up a lot of my spare time nowadays. Ripping down old cabinets from the late 80s, I believe. Finding wallpaper from the 70s behind it, taking that down. So it's taking a lot of time, but it'll be well worth it. It'll be good.
Now, so the 80s, has that come back in style yet? Because sometimes if you just wait long enough, it still looks good.
So. It does. To be fair, the cabinets that we've had in our house are really solid, and they've never really given us too much of an issue, but they're getting old to the point where, hinges are starting to break down, and the wood is starting to break down and splinter, and it's time, so ordered some new cabinets, putting them up and doing it on our own. And so it's taken some time, a little bit of new learning, but it's a good thing.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes, I'm unfortunately not the handy one at my house, so I stick to boring stuff like, changing light bulbs and things like that. So
I just stressed out yesterday because I had to cut a hole in my brand new cabinet because I had to put the vent up from the microwave, from the oven up through this
yeah,
cabinet. And while I was doing that, man, I did a couple of practice runs on on the old cabinets
yeah,
first. I did not
that's
want it to destroy, but it worked.
that's stressful. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
cool. Good for you.
yeah.
Um, so I've been yeah, going I unlike our guests who will introduce them in it, I don't go to like, 4,000 conferences a year. I do like, a few in the spring and a few in the fall. But for whatever reason, they've all taken a toll out of me this year. So I'm kind of glad that I have a break for a while. And last week I was at the Arc of AI conference. And actually, I know a lot of people went to. There was Dev Nexus, and then there was Java One, and a lot of people went to both of those. I did not make it to both of those. So I've been doing a lot of conference stuff. And yeah, my daughter finally got into in our county. You like apply to middle schools. I'm sorry, high school, not middle school. It's really weird. But we don't have to, but there's always specialty centers. So if you don't apply, you could be missing out. You can go to your own school and not do anything if you want. So we got through all that, and she got into the governor's school, which is cool because that school is like the best one. So I'm very excited about that. And work-wise, we've been doing a lot of doing some front-end development with Vue, and of course, we work with the Prime Tech guys, so we're using Prime Vue for that. And then doing on the Java side, we're doing some upgrades and migrations from rich faces and stuff using Open Rewrite. So that's been kind of fun.
Yeah,
So,
that's fun.
yeah. So that stuff's been pretty interesting. I am thrilled today because we finally got our esteemed guest, Mr. Josh Long, to join us. Hi, Josh.
Hello. Hi, good to see you all. So happy we can finally get this thing on the road.
Yeah, I think we rescheduled like 2 or 3 times, so I'm just happy we finally got it. And also, Josh is like traveling all the time because he's like Mr. Spring Developer Advocate Everywhere guy. I'm glad we were able to sync up with you. So how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Just yeah, I did all those shows you just mentioned and
I know
just
you
got
did
back
other
from
3 more in between, I think.
Fox to Amsterdam last week, and just this week was the Spring AI M7 release, and we did a whole refactoring on not the code proper, but packages and Maven coordinates and stuff that the features are all still there. They're just in different places, and
Right.
where coordinates matter, things have to be cared for. So there's all this code that is there to make it work in GraalVM, and I'm point on that. So I got back just in time to face a avalanche of work on that, but I'm feeling very relaxed now. I'm with you, my friends, and some of whom I've seen recently. Actually, we all bumped into each other at some of the shows,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, that's fun.
So I will. So for those who don't know Josh, and that probably is only true if you're not like a big Java person. I mean, if you know about Java, you probably heard of Josh.
I'm so sorry.
But I'll read you the little bio on his website at joshlong.com. It says a Spring developer advocate, Java champion, Kotlin and Google developer expert, author of numerous books, best-selling video trainer, open source contributor, podcaster, and YouTuber. Whoa.
Well, we all do things that we're not proud of, and I am a YouTuber. Okay, so
Have you become a TikToker yet, or are you just a YouTube shorter?
isn't TikTok illegal? I don't even know what's going on. I do YouTube. I do the tubes. I do the U's and the tubes, and it's
Yeah.
not great. Okay, look, but like and subscribe. Actually, I run it with my buddy Deshaun Carter. He's I love that guy. So he we both, like, I started the channel and I got tired of hearing my own voice. That's why I started the podcast. Is that why you guys did it? I started the podcast just because I got tired of hearing my own voice, and so I wanted to like hang out with smarter people, which is not a very high bar, mind you, but And that's just great to have a conversation, to have this forcing function, to have these conversations and record them. And then the YouTube channel, same thing. I was like, this has to be. It can't just be me. This is not what I want. I live with myself 24/7 anyway. This seems cruel to double down on it. So my buddy Deshaun joined, and he's so good.
Yeah, we should mention that you have a podcast, and what's it called again? It's called like
A Beautiful Podcast.
A Beautiful Podcast. Okay.
It's not great, but it is. The people that are on it are great. I, as the host, and not good, not good at all.
It is a good
Actually,
podcast.
It is.
it's an okay. It's the people are great. Again,
As a listener, it's good.
Thank you. You know what the number one complaint people give me is that the audio equipment doesn't sound good, and I have, as you can see, folks, like a very professional setup. I've got the soundproofing. I've got the Yeti microphone. If I'm on the road, I have Rode speakers. So all that to say, I've spent thousands to get the best quality audio, and people still complain. And I'm starting to think it's just my voice. They don't like to hear me, right? It's starting to take it. It's hard not to take it personally. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Well, anyways, you should check out Josh's podcast. It's usually like an interview podcast, right? Like
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I know I've listened to it a couple of times. I like it though. And I said that he's written a couple of books. I'll list them here: Cloud Native Java, Reactive Spring, Spring Recipes, Spring Enterprise Recipes, Pro Spring Integration, and Getting Started with Roo. Oh, I remember Roo.
Yeah.
Roo
It's a small 70-page book, and we gave it away for free. O'Reilly was super cool. Did you know you could do that with O'Reilly? You could approach O'Reilly and they'll give away a book for you. Like I didn't make any profit, obviously. That's okay. It was
Right.
but
Was it Roo's the predecessor of Spring Boot?
yeah, I mean it was a rapid application development kind of thing, right? It took a very direct, literal Ruby on Rails like approach to enterprise Java. So it was doing code generation. But this is 2008, mind you, right? So at the time, there was no programmatic servlet API. It was just web.xml. At the time, you were doing JSP and server-side artifacts for your UI layer. Just all the stuff that no longer holds true, right? Back then you deployed into a Tomcat instead of deploying Tomcat into your code, right? Embedding Tomcat into your code. So all these things that had to do, there were externalities with your actual program, sort of needed to be generated. They couldn't be your Java code. They had to line up with your Java code, but they weren't the Java code. And so all that's gone. My Java code controls everything now. So Spring Boot's a different approach. It's runtime as opposed to development time, code generation.
Right. Cool. All right, well, let's run through a few news topics, and then we'll pick your brain some more, Josh. So it looks like we found lots of news items here. I'll go through. I'll mention a couple of these, and Josh, you can grab some as well. I like this first one that you have. AI models still struggle to debug software. Microsoft study shows. And yeah,
this is just Microsoft AI. All
Which
the
is
others are
OpenAI.
just fine, really. Yeah.
Yes. No, they're actually using Anthropic's Claude 3.7
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
OpenAI O3 Mini, which is it's pretty good for code. I think it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it just depends on the domain, right? If you're having your AI try and debug a problem that is kind of a resident in your organization, and this code is directly written for customized processes, it's going to be harder for that AI to, figure it out unless you train it correctly.
Plus, if you're like going to be like, hey, debug this COBOL code for me, it's going to do a terrible job. Like there's the thing about AI is that there's this, I guess, level here where, like, let's say Java, for example, it's probably going to be Java 17 or Java 21 code. If you ask it to debug JDK 24 or JDK 6, those are one's too new and one's too old, and it's not going to do a very good job. I don't know the details of this particular article, but
I'm curious.
it all depends.
Well, I was saying that I did at the Archive AI conference, I did a new talk, which is about AI coding agents, not just like not tools like Copilot or whatever. And and one of them is like Devin.ai, which I have I'll talk about later. But these are ones that actually try and do more stuff for you. They try to go through all the steps and write a little code and make changes to lots of files, and then look at your output, or basically create a PR for you, and then let you respond to the PR, and then come back and make changes and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and they did okay, but they're definitely like one of them got in a situation where it made changes and then it couldn't compile it, and then it couldn't figure out why. So it's like, oh, sorry, this doesn't compile anymore. Should probably check out this branch and look at it. And it's like, okay. So yeah, it's
I sort of wonder, the genesis of all the agentic stuff. I think the most common early example was one model generates some code, another one evaluates that code and sees where there's room for improvement, and then they kind of iterate that way. They have this conversation. It's a while loop while the code is still not perfect. Keep validating and improving. And so I wonder, does this study speak to whether it's like one-shot debugging, or does it actually do iterative sort of thing?
And is it like a multi-agent thing that's doing it, or is it just one? It's a good
Or maybe,
question.
I used multi-agent as concept. It could be OpenAI talking to OpenAI, of course, but
Yeah, but still, I guess
yeah.
multi-model, that's what I'm thinking. But
yeah,
also,
and there's sequential decision-making processes. The other thing I kind of wonder is what's the unspoken variable here is what's the human factor? Like, I'm terrible at debugging, so I want like, is this bad success
compared
level
to-
better than me by myself? I don't know.
Wow, that's a good question. That's a really good point.
That's
Like
true.
that's actually one of the things I'm good at, which is debugging. I think it's because I'm more patient, really. I think that's what it is.
Well, to be fair, I'm also bad at code. I'm just bad at the whole thing.
Yeah, but
in
you're kind of
between
a self-deprecating
waking up and
person,
sleeping.
though. It's sort of it's sort of hard to know. I mean, as far as I can tell, you seem to be doing just fine. So
Spring is, you know why the AI models like Spring? Because people made fun of the abstract singleton proxy factory bean or whatever it was. But
Oh, right.
guess what that does? That feeds models. That's a whole sentence. The model knows exactly what that class does, right? So
I think
models code these classes surprisingly well, and that's the only way that I work. When it comes to do real engineering, though, I'm just I'm out there sleeping. It's not me. You know? I don't have to read the Java docs. I just remember the class names, and that's the name.
there you go. So next one is Meta's new tech wants you using phones in theaters.
Yeah, what is this? Did you see that? I don't know if
That
that's real. It must be a
weird.
troll.
Meta's partnering with Blumhouse to launch MovieMate technology that encourages moviegoers to use their phones during theatrical screenings, because beginning with an April 30 showing of Megan at Blumhouse, whatever.
That's interesting because usually you have that thing that pops up on the screen to silence your phones and shut
Yeah.
off the screens.
Okay, so they have a Megan themed AI chatbot they want you to use.
Yeah,
Megan, like the horror movie?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess that's the
I don't
deal.
know.
They're just
Every time
trying
I hear Meta, just my opinion, it's just like they're creating software to ruin something that you've enjoyed in your life for decades.
Yes.
I want to hang out with friends. Well, with Meta's new app, no. I'm going to hang out with my friends, and we're not using your app.
Yeah, with Meta, you can not do that and just stay home. No, you don't get it.
That's right.
Although I will say the iList is pretty cool. Now, I don't actually play any games because I'm boring, but conceptually, I find it pretty cool. But I get all these alerts like, hey, this person's, yeah, and I'm like, no, I really don't.
Yeah, totally.
Also, they gave us GraphQL and RSocket, so
Yeah,
thanks, Facebook.
yep, and a lot of PHP. Danno.
Okay, that's a bridge too far, sir. Take that back.
I'm just saying, it's true. All right, so you wanna talk about the next one, Josh?
Let me find the tab that had all this good stuff in. I mean, okay, next one. This one, not sure if this is what you would normally cover in your show. I just thought it really quite interesting. Apparently, the Microsoft Windows 95 reboot chime and the Minecraft soundtrack Minecraft soundtrack have been inducted into the National Recording Registry, which is super cool. You know, like if you.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of us, the 95 chime is probably closer to our childhoods than Minecraft. You know, certainly
Yeah,
as a
it's the one
full-grown adult, but
created by Brian Eno, if I'm not mistaken.
The Minecraft
the
or
No, the Windows 95 chime.
that makes a lot more
oh
sense.
wow.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Um,
I did not know that.
Is the Mac OS one that one from like the 80s? Is that in there as well?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I heard that Hamilton got inducted as well, which is kind of cool.
Right.
I do remember that a couple of iterations ago in the Mac OS, they removed that startup chime.
Oh,
And
really?
then there was a lot of noise and people wanted it back, so they put it back.
It's back.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It reminds me of like the 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
they should keep that.
Yep.
All right, next one. Clean energy. All right. Why don't you just
Optimistic.
go ahead? Clean energy powered 40% of global economy, global electricity in 2024, report finds. That is
That includes clean coal then, huh?
uh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if that's real. It sounds really good. I would be very happy if that was even close to true.
that's from the Guardian. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would love that. I mean, anyway, if it's half true, that's still great. That's a lot further along than I thought we were. So
yeah,
yeah.
very cool. Well, we'll see how much that goes backwards here, but that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, last one. UK creating murder prediction tool to identify people most likely to kill.
My gosh.
This is a little dystopian. I don't know about this
Yeah.
one. It's also from the Guardian, so I don't know.
Oof. You know what? Man, I will withdraw my comment before I even say it.
Minority Report stuff, right? Like this is predictive arrests, proactive.
But that's
Okay.
probably not going to work out too well.
I don't know.
All right, so
I don't. You know what? No, on this one, if this has anything to do with AI and like the way they've been citing more racial profiling with their AI, then I'll have to read the article. But I already have distress looking at the headline.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Didn't know how to say that, so I'll just keep it right there.
I think we're all with you, buddy.
All right, yeah. I
All
couldn't
right.
get the words out, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, we know what you mean. That sounds sketchy. All right, so in Java news, Java 24 is out, and this came out. When was it? Wasn't it
3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago? When was
Remember
Java
how painful it was between Java 7 and Java 8? Like we were like years, and now it's just like
March 11th, a month ago.
I have to say though, I didn't go to Java 1, but I've actually been watching some of the keynotes and the interviews and the live stream stuff, and I really enjoyed it. Like it's just been really nice to hear more, especially more from the people on the JVM team about talking about stuff. So
yeah. And as always, the backwards compatibility is the best part of our of the language. Yeah, it's just engineering feat right there.
So who wants to mention the JDK 24 features? Take it away, somebody.
I'll do one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Josh. You're the guest. Go, Josh.
Oh, the thread pinning for synchronized blocks.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My favorite feature. Like
yeah, so
it's not completely fixed. Native methods still synchronized. So things like class.4name still thread pin.
So we're supposed to be getting away from that though, correct? With foreign function memory, or is class 4 name still always going to be there, and so that's going to be a problem?
Good question.
Search me, man. I just know right now it's not great, but who cares? I
That's
don't
right.
do class.4 name inside
Hey
of
man, I'm just telling you what they told me.
right. Just telling you what I know.
So
That's right.
for those who don't know, let me explain this a little better. So the one of the issues with virtual threads is that they sound really cool, and they are cool, but and basically the idea is that you can have X number of threads mapping to n number of platform threads, but you can have hundreds or thousands of virtual threads,
Millions
or millions, right? And then the JVM schedules them and decides which ones are associated with a platform thread, right?
correct.
He knows all that.
Right.
But the issue was that if you had a synchronized block in your code, or you're doing foreign or JNI or foreign, is it called foreign name function, foreign
function memory interface, but that's not the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, it is the same thing as JNI, but more modern version, but I don't think it
Exactly.
undergoes pinning.
I think
I
it
could be
does.
wrong about that.
I think it does undergo pinning from what I've seen, what I've
Oh,
heard.
you do? Okay. I don't, yeah, okay, cool.
But in those cases, your virtual thread gets stuck to a platform thread, and it sort of messes up the whole deal because it's sort of like hogging the platform thread, essentially.
Right.
So, and I didn't even know they were doing this because I guess I haven't been paying enough attention. So in JDK 24, they removed that limitation so the synchronized keyword doesn't cause pinning.
Right.
And it's important because even if you remove all the synchronized keywords from your code and you use the reentrant lock, which is the preferred replacement, even if you do that, X number of third-party libraries are going to have synchronized blocks, and they may not have bothered upgrading.
Right.
This has been an issue. Like there's been a certain number of libraries that have had to remove all the synchronized blocks and everything in the last couple of years. So this is really awesome. I think this is going to make it a lot easier to start using virtual threads now. So
right. One of the problems was that we were starting to use the reentrant locks, the read-write locks, and all the other non-intrinsic locks. And then there was this movement of coming back to synchronized blocks because synchronized blocks used to be really slow, but then, you know, that just got better and better and better to where you didn't have to use the, you know, the, what is it, Java util concurrent lock interface. So you don't have to use those anymore. So we migrated over. So now we were like kind of stuck again, just like, oh, you got to reuse that, those other kinds of locks again. So things were getting a little confusing there, but yeah, we're good.
And I don't want people to feel like they couldn't, even if you're on Java 23, you should still be using virtual threads, dollars to donuts. You'll enjoy it. You'll get something out of it. Because even when they do hit the synchronized block, the thread pinning is actually it's a bug, but it's a feature. That is to say, the people on the Java team added thread pinning in this case. Because what would have happened otherwise is you would have virtual threads mounted onto operating system carrier threads, and in the old code, the lock was held by the operating system thread, the C++ code for the operating system thread, and so they would mount and unmount these Java threads, Java objects, which are virtual threads, which are light threads. They'd mount them and unmount them on the carrier threads, you know, at will as needed. But the semaphore would be held by the operating system thread, so you'd be violating in effect. You'd have multiple threads in the same exclusive block, right? So they, as a feature, the Java team said, okay, we can't fix the C++ code right now. So what we'll do is we'll make it so that if somebody tries to, you know, do synchronization, we'll just force them to serialize. We'll basically force them to behave like they're not virtual threads, like they were in Java 20 or Java 19 or 18, whatever. So thread pinning just means you're just like a broken escalator, just becomes stairs, right? It still works. You can still get up and down. It's just not as convenient. Your virtual threads just become regular threads, so you won't have any worse behavior than you had, you know, in Java 20 or 19 or whatever. It's upgrade. Use Java threads. Trust me, virtual threads. They're great. Just don't be scared. We're not trying to scare you away. They're great.
Yeah, but let me scare you about escalators. Like escalators that are broken. I think it's an urban legend. I don't know if there's any proof to it, but don't use an escalator when it's broken, even though it's you could think you could use it as a stair, because the top one can easily break. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm out there to scare everyone. But it was something I read on the internet, and if it's on the internet, it's true.
Gotta be true. Gotta be true.
Science
fact. It's got to be true.
I read that.
At least that's what Abraham Lincoln said. I saw a quote on the internet.
Right.
So, someone else pick another one. I know there's.
Mine's stream gatherers.
Yes. Tell us about gatherers.
Streams gatherers, intermediate operations, but you make your own. And what that does is, as an intermediate operation, you get inputs, and you get a bag right in between. You get to put things in the bag and do whatever you want with the bag. And then once you accumulate that bag, which is called a state, then you can throw out whatever you want. And so you could do a group by, because if you think about it now, pre-gatherers, if you do a group by, you have to do collectors grouping by, and then you would have to materialize it to a collection again, and then recall a stream to get some stuff done. Now you could just keep everything as a stream and use a gather, but there are a lot of different kinds of things and kinds of operators that you can create. You get about like 6 out of the box, like scan and fold and map current and a few others. A friend of mine Todd Ginsburg has Gatherers for J, and I'll make that a pick as well. And Gatherers for J is Todd Ginsburg created. I think he's on a roll. I don't know how many he created. He created a lot of different gatherers, so you don't have to think about it yourself. And Todd has you covered.
Yeah, I saw that project. Pretty neat.
That sounds awesome. I think my favorite, not my favorite, but one I'm happy about is the simple source files and instant main methods.
Yes.
Which is it's in a preview, like some of the other things. But basically, you can actually write a Java program without all the ceremony, without having to have a public static void main. You can put it all in one file. It automatically import a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah.
So like the target is students or people just learning programming. They don't have to worry about creating class and instantiating it and running it and all that kind of crap.
Right.
And I also think it's going to help with scripting. I'm actually going to try the next time I have to write a script. I'm actually going to try doing it in Java.
Yeah, you know what? Let me add a couple of things that I found out. One is like a long time ago, I think JDK 16. You can run a Java application without Java C. You could just do Java
Right.
on the source code, which is kind of cool. So it complements this newfangled thing. But what I learned a couple weeks ago is that JEP introduced java.io. And you can do io.println. And I'm like, what the heck is that? So you don't have to do system out println anymore. But also when you do the void main method, you could just type in println without system out. So I found that really intriguing as well. Yeah.
I use that feature. Because remember, I'm all about writing JavaScript, right? I love JavaScript, not JavaScript.
With the space in between Java
right.
and script.
Yeah.
Right.
That's JavaScript done right is Java in a script.
Yeah.
So
we are not making friends today. Nice.
I don't care. So anyway, I have an alias. If you've ever seen one of my talks, I'm sorry. But anyway, in that talk, I have an alias UAO, unzip and open, and all it does is it finds the zip file, unzips the zip file, and then runs idea space either build.gradle.kt or build.gradle or build or idea pom.xml, right? So it's idea and then one of those three files. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
But for years I had it in Python, and then Java added the ability to do the right thing, right? And now I have that, and it's all those things. It's classless like me, so I really like that feature. It's just a source code file, no compiled code, and it's just a void main. You don't have to define the parameters. You don't have to do. It's just so good. It's so good. I want that. I was hoping that would be GA in 24.
Nice.
Honestly, that's about.
You inspired me on that one. That's amazing. I like that.
Yeah.
That is so good. And it's fast too, by the way. Like it runs that program every single time, and it's instantaneous. For it's just a one single Java source code file, but it works. It's really good.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that next time.
You have to say -- enable preview.
Makes it easy for us Java developers to start writing more scripts.
Right.
What would we want to write it in some other language for?
You know what?
I still write a lot of bash. I mean, not a lot, but but usually it's in a situation where like it's not like my local machine. It's like a VM somewhere that's running that I don't really have control over what version of Java or whether or not Java's on it. So I just want to make sure bash always runs. But I think I'm going to start trying it in Java though, because it's gonna be a lot nicer.
Did you see that thing that's put in the chat there?
Oh, cool.
Like,
hey, look at that.
Yeah.
And now with var and like you said, the implicit imports for so many things, it just gets it's much better, and it's also very fast, and it's type safe, so you can validate. Like I've been doing bash for almost 30 years, and I still don't trust myself. I still feel like I've got some quiet thing in there, that's gonna bite me.
Yeah.
In production.
Josh, can you just share this real quick?
How?
Josh, do the share thing.
Oh, the screen? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
as long as you're okay with that.
We can see it, but nobody else can see it. So This is what Josh was just showing. For those few of you who are watching the YouTube feed, for those of you who are not watching it, we're just showing the code that for Josh's little script to unzip a file and run IntelliJ. So
yeah, you can use it right now. All you gotta do is say -- enable preview space -- source space 24, right? Or whatever
Nice.
version of Java you're using. And I want that to go away. Like, and if you in hopefully in a version near you, Java space foo.java should work, right? And then you can
Right.
do
right.
void main. I'm using the arguments because I need, it's just like with a $0 in bash, right? So I need the current directory, so I do that, but you don't have to declare this. And I'm throwing an exception because I'm doing IO, but you don't have to. So just void main would work, right?
This is really nice.
Yeah.
So good. Come on, I couldn't believe they didn't ship this. This has been basically unchanged in the last 6 months, so I'm actually I'm sure there's a reason, but I am a little disappointed it didn't make the cut this release as a final thing.
25.
I'm curious. I'm really happy to see that in education, like in just, because if you're just learning how to program stuff and you're working with constructs and data structures and stuff, then you don't need to worry about a class and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's why lots of people like to learn something like Python, because you don't need to have all the class construct and all of that. This makes it
Right.
more approachable.
Right.
100%.
Oh, you excited me there, Josh, so my thing is, I asked AI, hey, is there any kind of like quick web server that I can create? And it immediately went to Python, like you said, right? Here's Python, and here's Flask, and you could create a quick web server. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice. Why can't I do this in Java? But the JEP came out with something called Simple Web Server quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's if you've never seen that code, that is a web server that you don't need. And sorry, Josh, but this includes, you don't need Spring, you don't need Jakarta, you don't need Quarkus, you don't need, if you're creating something simple, it's just, a single class. And then in the combination with the JEP that Kito mentioned with the simple main methods, you have your Flask, you have your simple web server that you can, start to get going. So I love that 1-2 combination there. So that really excited me there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. Cool. All right. So there are many other awesome features in JDK 24.
Josh didn't give one.
Oh yes, Josh number.
Or Josh is. Oh no, one Josh did. The other Josh didn't. Josh Juno, do you have a 24 pick?
My pick would be the primitive types in patterns instance of it as the second preview. Been using it for a while now, but it's pretty nice to have.
Nice.
Yeah.
And underscore for the anonymous variable. That's a GA feature too.
Unnamed variables. Yeah. Beautiful.
Also, what? Sorry, go on.
Which one's that?
You can, like, if you have a lambda and it declares a parameter in the single abstract method parameter, and you're not going to use the parameter, but you have to declare it because it's a lambda conforming to an interface. You can just do underscore instead of the variable name, instead of bothering with.
Okay.
Right.
Don't
Same with exceptions. So like you could do try catch exception, but you're like, I'm not going to do anything with that EX or that E variable. Just put an underscore there.
I like that so much better than the JavaScript way of just ignoring it. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And Kotlin has the same thing, and it's just nice to see it in Java, and it's useful. It's GA, today already you can use it.
Yeah,
I've used it all the time because the IDE will gray out when you're not using a type. I'm like, I know IntelliJ, but what do you want me to do about it? I have to declare it. Leave me alone. Now there's a recourse.
You're arguing with IntelliJ. Damn it! I know IntelliJ. Leave me alone, IntelliJ.
Yeah, just come on. Like, have a heart. I'm
trying my best
struggling. Like this is, so you mentioned we've talked about this before. Project Panama is super. It's not new. There's nothing. It's GA, all right, in 2020 Java 22, I think. But it has. I mean, you can You can reflectively invoke native symbols in your lookup path, right? It's like a reflection API for native code at the low level, right? I can look up symbols in my load path and invoke them. I can allocate memory. I can do all that within Java code. I don't have to write more C++ code or C code to use Java and native code together, right? Which is what I used to have to do with JNI. So what that means is you could have a class that is just a Java source code file that in turn has no class, like me, and that uses Project Panama to then invoke native C code, right? Take that, Python. I mean, this is an amazing like result, like we can actually do that kind of scripting, that glue code that Python is so ubiquitous and famous for. That's very, very much in the realm of possibility now for the average Java developer.
And it's fast too. Java's fast. Not slow.
And then part of the reason that Python is faster for just specific use cases is like SciPy and NumPy. These are C code extensions. So not that we have the vector API, which is also a very nice preview feature that you can still use and should use. But I'm saying for other things where Python kind of cheats by using C code, we could do the same thing now with Project Panama without actually having to hurt ourselves with. Like it blows my mind with Java, with JNI. If you want to interrupt, because I think it was on purpose, right? My presumption is they don't want people writing C++ code, so they made it hemorrhoid-inducingly painful to interrupt with existing C++ code 30 odd years ago. And by the way, it is 30 years this year, right? So I get why they kind of maybe did it, because I mean, look at it. When Java, we're hashtag blessed, right? Like you can do everything in Java until you can't. There's always going to be something in the C world or the C++ world or the Rust world or the D world or the whatever, right? That there's the ecosystem beyond, and sometimes I just want to call a freaking native symbol. Is that so wrong? I just want to do that, please. And now I can. I don't have to write more C++. It's not like, I think it was like a interrupt tax that Java added. The JNI is like a tax to discourage people from using native code because it should all be pure running in a browser, applet friendly kind of stuff, which doesn't work if you have to load Java code and native code.
That age like milk. Yep.
Yeah. Fine milk. Oh, even that. Isn't that cheese?
All right. So moving along, the Jakarta EE guide to contributing. This is yours, Josh.
Yep. I just wanted to quickly mention this. Jakarta EE 12 is certainly around the corner, and there's been a guide published by the Jakarta EE ambassadors, giving you different ways to contribute and to kind of get into the mix of getting Jakarta EE 12 off, and it gives you pointers on if you're not sure where to start, where to go read, mailing lists to join. Gives you some updates on what's actually going to be in Jakarta EE 12 so far, and certainly this is not a definitive list, and certainly some of the things may be taken off the list. It's very early days right now, but also this document does outline a little bit of post Jakarta EE 12 what might be coming along. So yeah, it's definitely on its way and started, and you should go in there and take a look at it.
I got a question.
100% second that.
Yeah, I got a question for Josh's. I think Spring has. I think Spring and Jakarta get along very well. And what's the relationship between them? Since we have a Jakarta ambassador and we have the Spring guy here, so we're in a unique position to ask these kind of questions.
you have two Jakarta ambassadors, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes. So,
Ivor Grimstad does a really good talk on all this stuff. I mean, we don't purport to support every single spec, but we do integrate where we see an obvious opportunity. But before we get onto that, and I want to talk about that, seconding what Josh Juneau just said, I love that you've got a contributors guide, and I encourage people who are, especially the young people, because we have a supply chain problem here, right? Like there are people out there saying, oh well, AI is going to do everything. Well, and you can just vibe code yourself to production, but we can't make. What happens to there's no next generation. You know what I'm saying? If you automate away the remedial tasks, then the young people don't become senior people.
Right.
And then what? So what does that look like? We're like right now, it's all fun and games, but what happens in 10 years when there's just no more young people? You know what I'm saying? Like doing the job. So absolutely contribute to Jakarta and Spring. We have the same thing. We have I'm sure you have like GitHub issues that are marked ideal for contribution or whatever. A lot of open source efforts. There's a process, right? There's ways to contribute to these efforts, and please do, please. get involved, say hi, tug on an issue or something like that, and I'm sure somebody will be along to welcome you into the fold. As for the Spring and Jakarta E relationship, like I said, we support. I don't even know what version it is because it's hidden behind what's it called? It's hidden behind dependency management. So I'm going to hit generate here on the latest and greatest. Spring Framework
It's
7 is coming out this year, and that will be. I'm not even sure if we upgrade. I think it's still just 11, right? So, but I'm sure we support where appropriate 11, 12, bits. Let me see. I've got simple. I'm just gonna call this simple, so I can try a simple Tomcat and see what version is pointing to. Let's see. But we were, of course, I mean, obviously, Tomcat is no longer, I'm not sure if it's still the reference implementation or if it ever was, but it's certainly a very ubiquitous servlet implementation. So for example, when that whole jump from Javax to Jakarta happened, it sent us into a tizzy for a few horrible duration, duration, just as it did the entire ecosystem. But on the other side of it now, things feel a lot better. So,
Yeah.
okay, let me see. Spring Boot started Tomcat. That in turn brings in the Jakarta Annotation API 2.11. I don't know what that is. So let's see. Tomcat embed, WebSockets. I'm just looking for the implementation of the spec of servlets. Do you know if this is tied? What if is there a way to reverse engineer what version of Jakarta EE? Oh, it's no, that's not it.
So you've
I
got,
think it's 10 that it's supporting, but I'm not
pretty
100%
sure it's 10. And the reason for this is that 11 just sort of came out and it's not really completely done.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's the other way. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's we
I think
support optional bits in 11 for. I think it's like there's certain parts where we kind of have to support newer things because they moved faster. Maybe I think Hibernate is one of those. Is that wrong? Am I mistaken? Maybe.
JPA, yeah.
Yeah, that they. So Spring Framework 7, and I know we haven't dramatically upgraded the baseline there.
what version
it-
of Hibernate is it? That would tell us some stuff.
So Spring Framework Jakarta E11 is our baseline
Okay.
for Spring Framework
Nice.
7 coming out in November of this year.
Okay.
Right?
That's
Yeah. So
awesome.
that implies that today it's 9 and 10. It's designed to work with both.
That's good.
That's something I've always liked about Spring Framework. I mean, as a Jakarta EE guy, developing services and applications with Jakarta EE, Spring was always a little bit ahead of the curve. So if you want to use Spring Boot and you really like Kotlin, for instance, you can write your Spring Boot application using Kotlin. You can't do that with Jakarta EE. So there are just different options provided. Also, easier to run an executable jar file if you're writing a Spring Boot service. You can certainly do it with embedded Pyra Micro or some other servlet container.
You can do it with you could do it with like Quarkus or Halidon or something.
Yeah,
So you can
Quarkus
do-
is certainly another option
Yeah.
for Halidon. But I just mean that Spring and Jakarta E, I think they're just different tools in the tool shed. And certainly, as Josh Long had mentioned, Spring does utilize a number of the specs directly
Mhm.
from Jakarta EE. So they get along
Yep.
for
Symbiotic.
sure.
I would encourage you to check out Ivar Grimstad. He's got a talk about that, like
Yeah.
that nice little relationship.
Yeah, he does. All right, so you have the Jakarta E review status, Josh. Josh number 1.
I did, and this is just it's a GitHub project. You can go and just check out where things are happening. This is kind of like a one of those boards, those board views that you can check out,
Cool.
and it just kind of tells you where the different slots. Some things are being developed, what's ready for review, what's just kind of been proposed, things like that. So you can get there really good visual of what's going on with 12 just by taking a quick look at that.
I did not know we had this actually.
It's
That's
pretty
like-
slick. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So
Alright.
it's definitely moving along. Just wanted to kind of bring that up. And
That's really nice.
All right. Josh number 2.
Yes,
What did
sir.
you want to say about I know you gave us a preview before we started recording, but tell us about this Java on WebAssembly.
Oh, yeah. So, at wasm.io in Barcelona, Spain. When did that happen? It couldn't have been more than a couple weeks ago. I think I was, maybe it was last week. It was 27 to 28 March. So I guess it was 2 weeks-ish ago. Anyway, at that event, the GraalVM team, Dr. Fabio Niephaus, one of my favorite doctors, along with Doctor Who, Dr. Strange, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Sire, Dr. Subramaniam, and Dr. Krista Volder and Dr. Pollock. He announced that they have a backend for WebAssembly, right, for GraalVM. Now, some of you might recall, I certainly do because I bookmarked it and kept on refreshing the page every other day. They had a blog back in like 2022 or 2023 where they talked about the announcement of the availability of RISC-V support, right? In GraalVM. And I'm like, who cares? Nobody, why write this? Why put these ideas to pixels, you know? And I thought that was the dumbest blog I've ever seen. But then you get to the bottom of the blog and there's a just this little innocuous little sentence, which is blah, blah, blah. This might be suitable or it might be applicable to WebAssembly. And I'm like, that's the way to bear the lead, right? That's the thing I was caring about. And that was 2 years ago. So anyway, fast forward a couple weeks ago, they announced they've got a target for WebAssembly. So you can basically, instead of compiling RISC-V, which 0 people will use, you can support WebAssembly. You can actually compile to WebAssembly, and it's got some limitations. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's ready, but it's Java 25 early access, and lots of more asterisks than not, right? More caveats than not. But like for example, no network access. So good luck getting 90% of the programs ever written in Java working. But they'll work on that. They've got the core approach works. They just need to provide interop. They need to provide when somebody calls this Java SDK IO library, map it to this thing in WebAssembly, or Node or whatever the underlying runtime is, right? Let them do that. They'll cook on that and it'll be fine. But you can do it. You can actually you can take Java source code, compile it to a class file, and then turn that into a native image. And when I say native image, I mean WebAssembly.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And
so cool.
I know that I think there were our projects to do Java to WebAssembly, but they weren't like in like a JDK.
Yeah.
They could just so seeing it from the Graal people is exciting, and I know they can already. Can't you already run WebAssembly with GraalVM? Like, or was
Yeah.
Okay,
I think so.
So you can compile and run it, which is nice.
And there's even a Java separate from that. Even I'm not. In addition to what you're saying, there's even a separate project whose name escapes me at the moment. That is a Java library. It's some code that somebody wrote that you can link in your class path to then run arbitrary WebAssembly, right?
Really?
From a Java program. So Java can act as a host for WebAssembly already. And that means you could already have a Java program that links to some code written in Rust or whatever, right? That was compiled to WebAssembly. And now the idea goes with this, we could also then compile and export our Java code to WebAssembly so that somebody from Rust could then link to and use our code.
Nice.
I mean, take that .NET TLR. This is the common language runtime. It's only another few years away, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, we had Brian Sletton on the last.
I love him.
Yeah, it was really great
Big
conversation.
fan.
But we talked a lot about WebAssembly, so it really made us think about some of the potential future of that technology. So
I mean, Solomon Hykes, the guy who forgive me if I'm butchering his name, by the way. He's the fellow who created Docker. I mean, he said had WebAssembly existed when he created Docker, he would not have created Docker because this is a much better, more granular unit of isolation currency. Like that seems, I don't know, it's hype right now. I get that, but with this community, just give it a little bit. It'll be awesome and real soon.
yeah, I agree. Just a process note, or not process note, but point I'd like to make, which is that all of these links are available at stackdpodcast.com. That's STACD podcast.com, where you can find this in all our previous episodes. Hey, Josh, when I was looking at your website before the show, I saw you were talking about creating build packs. And I was like, I'm not really familiar with build packs.
Oh,
And
Buildpacks.
yeah, so I looked at the site briefly, but I was just, if you just tell us more about what they are, because of course I'm familiar with like normal OCI containers and Docker containers and stuff,
Right.
but the build packs look a little more interesting to me.
So Buildpacks originated at Heroku. So the idea was, I've got, Heroku was a Ruby on Rails, a Ruby platform as a service originally, right? It's catered exclusively towards Ruby. And then they came to their senses, and they realized that they needed to be able to support other ecosystems. So they said, okay, well, we've got to have a bit of indirection. The Heroku model is you deliver your application, the platform runs the application, but the thing that you deliver isn't always necessarily the thing that they can run. So they had this convention where basically there's these different build packs that get applied after a little bit of detection. So it's like chain of responsibility for a source code artifact or a directory, basically. So something goes through something runs a directory full of code, or a Node.js application, a Ruby on Rails application, Java, jar, .NET exe, whatever. Something visits that artifact and passes it through a number of different bash scripts. They have a detect bash script that then says, oh, okay, hey, I think I can handle this, right? So then it's just a directory full of scripts with well-known names. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And you've got multiple different implementations of these scripts with well-known names. One for Ruby on Rails apps, one for Java, one for .NET, one for COBOL, one for whatever you want, right? And so you plug in these directories full of scripts, and they have scripts with well-known names. They get called. They get a chance to visit the artifact. If they say I can handle it, then their job is to take the thing and turn it into a container, and then that container gets dumped out. You can Docker tag and push that to your container registry of choice. That's the old thing. And on the Spring team over at Pivotal back in the day, 2013, we have this sister platform as a service called Cloud Foundry. And so we thought, well, this Buildpacks idea is a really good idea. We built upon that, and we brought it in and supported it in Cloud Foundry. And we eventually realized, okay, there's some limitations. So we joined Heroku in actually leading the effort to build Buildpacks 3.0. And so now Buildpacks 3.0 is, Docker first. It's containers first, layers first, right? And there's thousands of different build packs out there for all different kinds of artifacts. So basically you say, here's my Java jar, turn it into a container, and I don't care how, right? Or here's my .ear or whatever. If there's a build pack that supports it, it'll do that, right? Or .war or .exe or .static. It's like a static HTML page in index.html. Yeah, I quite like build packs. If you're using Spring Boot, you just say spring-boot: build-image, and it behind the scenes will orchestrate build packs for you, right? So you'll get a Docker container from Spring Boot. You need Docker Desktop,
right?
Or Podman or something. You need a container, or runtime on your machine.
Okay,
but
cool.
It's super good, and you can write your own build packs, and you can refactor the ones that we've got since they're all open source.
Okay.
But the benefit is that the build packs are built by the Java, the Spring team, which has a lot of experience with running Java workloads in production. So it has really sensible defaults for tuning the JVM. We have environment variables that we'll look at for things like certificates that you might need to load, or Java agents that you want to register, or all this kind of stuff. Ditto. I'm sure the Python build pack and the Ruby build pack and the PHP build pack, they all do equally useful things for those respective runtimes.
Right. All right, cool. Good to know. I
Yep.
added that to the show notes. So this leads us very well into Spring AI. So tell us about Spring AI M7. What's going on with that?
Oh, that just dropped yesterday. So this project is getting it's like a rolling stone, right? Gathering more moss. It just M7 just released. I'm hoping this is the last milestone before GA. I don't know. Nobody tells me anything. But you know, like whatever. It's M7 is it's interesting because of how little has changed for the user, right? So again, it's stable, right? Things are starting to coalesce into their final shape, and you know, where the abstractions are on point. They are what they're supposed to be. Spring AI is your one-stop shop for AI engineering these days, and it's we in the Java community, we are, I think, really well positioned, really arguably the best positioned to take advantage of this AI wave, right? Because the best uses of AI, and by that I mean these different models, is when you connect them with your data and your services and your algorithms. And where does that stuff live? It's being guarded by Java services. It's not, most of the enterprise isn't running their business logic and their data in Python, right? It's Java, right? So if you can integrate these models with your data and your business logic as written in Java, you have an amazingly good opportunity. So Spring AI is we hope it'll be the best fit for that. It does all the usual suspects. It you have integration with different models, but the thing that I think is most interesting is if you look at M7, we renamed some of the coordinates, moved around the modules and so on. But the single, you know, for me, by the way, look at that AI generated music by Josh Malm. Did you see that first one there? There's a link to celebrate this release. We have added a new song to our AI generated.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I had basically I had one of the models generate a riff on No Sleep Till Brooklyn, right? And for the youngs, that's a song from the '80s that was, you know, with apologies to the Beastie Boys. So we did No Sleep Till production. Anyway, this is another AI tool that actually create the music for you based on the lyrics, which is crazy. People can't hear it, and that's good because it's not great, but it is kind of cool that it works.
Still, this is an impressive website. I've used it before to create, and
I've used
absolutely nuts.
Suno.com, right? So have you been following the MCP stuff? That to me is like the most engrossing topic, you know?
I haven't worked with it yet, but I have been following it. But for those who don't know, why don't you explain what it is?
So Anthropic, think of them like ChatGPT, if you don't know, is they have a model and called Claude, and they have a desktop experience called Claude Desktop, and it's just like ChatGPT.app or ChatGPT.exe. You can download it on your Mac and Windows hosts. Sadly, I don't know that it works on Linux or that they ever plan on making it work there, which is a shame. You can, you know, you can hit the thing in the browser, but what I'm saying is you specifically need the desktop experience. And the reason is because they have this thing they announced back in November. I'm sure you'll remember November, where they allow you to designate tools. You specify these programs on your local machine, your host, in a JSON config file. And then when you go to Cloud Desktop, you can say, okay, well, I want to tell me the weather or something like that, right? And the model is smart enough to say, okay, this person's looking for the weather. I have a tool that's been specified in this JSON config file called weather, right? And it's described as giving me the weather given a current city or whatever. And here's the prototype of the function that's available in that tool. That's super useful, but it's host to host. It's like in the same host rather, not host to host. It's process to process in the same operating system, and it communicates via standard in, standard out. So this interaction, that protocol is called Model Context Protocol, MCP, and it was created by Anthropic, but it is just a protocol, and they actually updated the spec to support HTTP and service and event streams. So now, you know, it's taken off. There's thousands of different MCP services out there. Most of the cloud hyperscalers, as far as I know, have like announced MCP support. Zapier.com, you know, they do these integrations, you know, the pipes and filter style integrations, point-to-point integrations. They support MCP. I mean, thousands of different things are now MCPable. And the effect of this is you can go to Cloud Desktop and say, hey, like there's a Blender 3D MCP service, right? You go to your Cloud Desktop with Blender on your local machine and say, render me a scene of 1920s Paris. And it could do it, right? Like Star Trek, you know, computer, render a scene, whatever. Like You could have there's an MCP thing that uses a music synthesizer. You could say render some music from 1920s Paris, right? And it's there's all sorts of integrations, and these things can be composed, obviously. So now that there's also HTTP support, this is, I think, super obviously a natural fit, rather, for the enterprise, right? And so, okay, that's the background. Concurrent with that, contemporaneous with all that, back in November, which again, who remembers? The Spring AI team announced the fledgling nascent support for MCP in Spring AI, and that support dropped like a week or two after the spec proper was announced, and that support was good enough, so good in fact that the Anthropic team reached out to us, and we've since donated it. So the core Java SDK for MCP is built by the Spring AI team, and that work is, it's ongoing, obviously, but it's already taking off. I mean, it's really, really powerful what you can do with that now. And of course, on Spring AI, we have, the core SDK is meant to be as agnostic as possible, right? It's just a core Java library with some extra, almost no extra dependencies. And then in Spring AI, we pull that in, we add a thin veneer of auto configuration and, export it in the usual Spring Boot way. Spring way, but otherwise it's really, really powerful. You can easily stand up MCP services, and by the way, it's not tied to Anthropic either, right? Remember, you can build a Spring AI application talking to a llama, which supports function calling. We can adapt the MCP's tools that are being exported over there to a function, and then export that to a llama, for example. So you can build Spring AI apps talking to any arbitrary model, basically, and then invoke MCP services as part of that. And we also support that JSON config file. So if you want to use Spring AI to orchestrate Blender, right, you could build a chat app with Spring AI, and then point it to the config file that Blender, for the local Anthropic config style file, and we can be a client to that as well, right? So we support building both the standard in and standard out, as well as this HTTP variant. It's not a panacea. As with all things, this is early days yet. It's the wild, wild west, and so one thing that's a bit of a, it's HTTP. What do you do with HTTP? Well, you call it from a client. Where's that client? Usually not in the same host. Doesn't that mean there needs to be some security? Yeah. So about a month ago, the MCP spec, they put out this. Instead of going this way, it went that way or whatever. It didn't go in the right way. They put up the spec, and the spec, they announced they said they expected people to, for every MCP service, have an OAuth IDP, right? A full OAuth identity provider like Keycloak or Okta or Active Directory or the Spring authorization server, right? And that's not great, right? That's not how this should work. Every single REST API, imagine somebody telling you every single REST API should also be a full OAuth IDP. You should embed Keycloak for every single REST API. That's exactly not how it works. So the community, us included, said, "Oh, hey, that's not great. Let's do something else." So just this week, I think, they amended that, and so now the recommendation, the clarified recommendation, is MCP should act as a resource server in this OAuth,
right?
Trinity. Yeah, which makes a ton more sense. The other issue that they had, so I guess in theory, by the way, if the MCP stuff, if I understand correctly, you could start securing your MCP services today. You don't need to wait for anything in the core spec, because it's just HTTP and OAuth, right? Which we've already got that. But the other thing that they've fixed in a more recent change, but not this week, but a few weeks ago, was it's server-side events, and there was no architecture for resumption. So imagine I've got a client, I've got an Spring AI application talking to an MCP service, and it's a server-side event stream. So I'm stuck on this long-lived socket, consuming the ongoing stream of events. Well, now I disconnect. Now my server gets, the process dies. Now what? How do I resume? Up until a few weeks ago, the spec didn't really account for that. So you just restart, which is not what you want, right? So they added a token. So basically it's a resumption token. And that's supported in Spring AI M7 as well as that new architecture for more scalable MCP services. It's it's good. It's going to be big. This stuff, this AI thing, I think it's going to go places. People are going to be quite pleased when they see what you can do.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, this
Looking
Java
forward to
stuff.
it.
Let's go Java. And by the way, what do you all think of Valhalla and the vector stuff? Like, and what about LLM for J? Have you all seen that? The
Hey, which
full
one?
LLM in a Java source code file using the vector API that you can compile to GraalVM. It's much faster than
Is it?
a lot of other models, a lot of LLMs in Python, whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's already there, and it's
Not-
using a preview feature. And it's not using Valhalla.
Yeah, is that what they were demoing at Java 1, or is that different? I think
Might
that-
be.
I think that was-
It's not very new. It was in the last year, but
Okay.
it's a single source code file. You can embed an LLM now in Java, and they're using. Have you been following the 1BRC thing? That whole our friend Gunnar Morling last year had this thing where he
right.
Yep, I remember
yeah
that.
yeah he asked people to write a program to load 13 gigabytes of weather station telemetry data, and the results were really interesting because the first one was Thomas Wertinger's, that's the creator of GraalVM, but in the top 20 or whatever was another one that was very fast, but it ran only on the JRE, right? And that was using the preview feature, the vector API preview feature in Java. The vector API gives you access to specialized computing resources for, say, matrix multiplication, the kind of stuff you need to do. Oh, I don't know, AI, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that vector API, you can use it. People who are listening, you can use it now, but it's a preview feature, just like the main classless main methods and all that stuff that we just talked about. And it's not going to stop being a preview feature for a while, but it is pretty stable. And the reason it's not going to stop is because it's gated by this other thing called Project Valhalla. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, the vector API is already very good. It's already very good. It's a lot faster than trying to do n times n matrix multiplications in regular Java code. And so there's an implementation of this 1BRC challenge that used the vector API. But the problem is it couldn't at the time, GraalVM could not compile you couldn't compile a vector API code to native image code, right? So the native image one won, but Thomas Wertinger, who's the person who created the #1 entry, realized that had the vector API code been compilable to native image, then the combination of those two things would have been even faster than his submission.
Right.
So he hired that person that created that to work on the GraalVM team, and that is supported now, right? So
Nice.
all this to say, it's a really good result. The LLM for J uses the vector API, and it can be turned into a native image. So you can get a full LLM as a native binary, compiled from a single, literally it's just one giant source code program. It looks like roughly translated C code or something like that, but it works. And that's where we are now. Imagine what happens when Valhalla gets here.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Valhalla's, that's the thing I'm waiting for. I was waiting for virtual threads for years and years. The next thing I want for Christmas in a year in the next decade, please, would be Valhalla, or my birthday. I'll take it, anything.
I'll add a LM4J to the show notes. It's just a LM4J at GitHub, but I'll
Which
Yeah.
one's the one with value objects? I thought that was Panama, or is
Val-
that Valhalla?
Valhalla.
It's Valhalla.
That's going to be huge, and by that I mean very, very small. That's
Right.
And fast.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
it's all about optimizing for cache locality, right? CPU cache locality, cache lines. Right now, Java, we just throw references across the CPU ether, and just figure it out later, garbage collector. But if you can get things all densely packed, so yeah, they're gonna and actually, if that doesn't make sense, the other way I've been pitching it to people is, what if you could add new primitive types to their language?
Yes, that's a good way to look at it.
Right? Like, what if you wanted to, like, why is big integer allocated as opposed to just like an int, right? Ints
Right.
aren't allocated, they're just
Mhm.
yeah. So
Right.
with with Valhalla, I guess big integer would be like an int, right? You could, and the common example, our friend Brian Getz, on the Java language architect, Brian Getz, he keeps talking about point, right? Having a point in a game or a map or whatever.
Right.
Imagine that just being burned, the object header gets burned away at the compile time. And all the Java runtime manages is those 2 floats or 2 points, 2 longs,
Right.
not a full object
Purely
header.
stack. Right.
Yeah, it's just stack allocation. Exactly. Not in the heap. So good. Oh, come on, please.
Yeah,
Java team.
absolutely.
I
And then the
agree.
other thing too is like value objects are already like a thing for like, you know, if you do domain driven design stuff, they're like, yeah, use value objects all the time. So, you know, the merging of those, yeah, everything coming together is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's an amazing time to be a Java developer.
I'm really
And
looking
to-
forward to the null restricted types.
Yeah.
Basically saying that you're not allowed to pass null in here as a parameter, which is very nice.
Right.
That's a knock-on effect from Valhalla too, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So the question is, why can't I have a list of int? I can have a list of integer, but I can't have a list of int. And the reason I can't have a list of int is because we don't support reification of primitive types, which Valhalla would fix. But then you get into some weird questions like, well, okay, I can have nulls in a list, but ints aren't nullable. So now I need some way to like reconcile these two. There's a dissonance there. There's an impedance. And so now these nullability specifications, like you just said, will come to the language. In the meantime, I hope people will check out JSpecify. Have you all been following that effort?
JSpecify?
JSpecify, it's like that XKCD cartoon where you had one standard and then somebody else builds a meta standard to aggregate all the other standards. Now we just have one more standard. Yeah, that one. So there are several different, like, you know, there's the JDK team has nullability annotations. The IntelliJ team has nullability annotations. I think, yeah, Spring has some nullability annotations. And so a number of different organizations have gotten together, including Spring and Android and Google and PMD and IntelliJ and Kotlin, SonarQube, etc. And we've got this these set of annotations that you can use. And Spring Framework 7 will support them throughout the code base. And that means that if you're using Kotlin, those annotations are taken as actual, you know, compiler warnings or errors or whatever,
Right.
implicitly. And if you're using Java and IntelliJ, then you'll get, you know, feedback telling you, hey, this is not what you think it is. It's going to be a problem.
Right.
So
Very cool.
Valhalla is years out yet, or maybe it's a year. I don't know. Could be tomorrow, but they haven't given us a timeline. So in the meantime, this seems like a great fit.
You know what's funny to me? Like towards the beginning, we were thinking about what we're going to call for picks, and Josh Long was like, "I don't know what to have as picks," and now he's just like dumped 15 of them.
Here's a pick. There's a pick. Yep.
Indeed, indeed.
There's a pick. There's a pick. I got another pick. Check this one out.
Nice.
Aren't we lucky?
Yes.
That's right.
All right. So that was a lot of things that were awesome. We're short on time, so I'm trying to think of which one of these I actually want to talk about. You know what? I'm just going to go through these very quickly because I think they're all interesting. This way I won't have to worry about them later. So, so from tools, so I follow all of these AI coding assistants, and one of the ones is Tabnine. It's sort of like Copilot, but it's been around actually longer. And they now have a new feature called from pixels. It's called image as context. That's what it's called. So basically now when you are prompting it to say, hey, can you write this code to do XYZ, you can actually send an image and it can use that as part of the context for what it's trying to do. Which can be useful if, like, you know, you're trying to create a screen or, you know, you want to pass in a Figma design or something.
Sure.
So I have not tried this yet, but I'm very curious about it. And Tabnine's been interesting to me because, you know, they're competing against Microsoft, which is not easy. But they keep on doing interesting things. So I'll be interested to see how they handle that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if you can actually make like a prototype screenshot, whatever, and then send that image, what you want the page to look like, and it will automatically lay it out that way. That would be really
Yeah, and
nice.
I know there's some tools that do that, like, you know, but this, like, if this integrates actually with your current code base, that's kind of nice. So,
Yep.
nice. The other one I wanted to mention is DevRiot. The DevRiot is a company in the front end space, and they're shutting down these 3 sites that they had: webcomponents.dev, backlight.dev, and components.studio. I'm kind of sad to see these go because Like if you go to webcomponents.dev, it shows you every single way that you can build web components, build apps using web components. And then for each one, like I've been using Vue lately, right? So, you get your little IDE, and then you can work with it and see changes right away and everything, sort of like you do in StackBlitz or something. Although Josh has never heard of StackBlitz. So, yeah, so this one is for web components, and they've got a couple more that are a little different. But that's kind of sad to see this go, because I think this
That looks like VS Code, right?
it probably is.
So like that right-hand panel could just be a plugin on VS Code, and then you could just end up using GitHub Codespaces or Gitpod.
Yeah,
I would think, right?
probably. Yeah, I mean this might have come out before like CodeSpace became a big
Sure.
deal, but yeah, it probably is pretty similar. I think StackBlitz is pretty similar too. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I think apparently they I lost my link, but they they're making a lot of money with Figma plugins. So they're like, well, let's just focus on the thing that makes us money, the Figma plugin. So they're switching to that. So sad, but that's the way things go. Did you want to mention this AI agents one, Josh?
Yeah, I'll quickly just mention it. Oh, you
I
can
don't
go
know
ahead.
which Josh. I don't know which Josh put it in. I just know it wasn't me.
That's Juno, I think that was yours, right?
Yeah, I put this one in here, the Eclipse open source IDE infused with AI agents. What's happening is that Foundation, the Eclipse Foundation made available alpha release of Theia, which is an integrated development IDE, and it provides access to artificial intelligence agents, and it automates a wide range of coding tasks, obviously is what the agents do. But at the same time, they're also generally making available the framework that the IDE is built on to any organization that wants to build an AI-infused IDE. So that's pretty big, because it enables people to start building these AI-powered IDEs and essentially can expose different LLMs that you prefer to use here in your IDE and whatnot. So this could really be a big thing. So just wanted to make mention of that.
And actually, yeah, this is what I thought. So I think Theia, the initial Theia, I think it's a fork of VS Code.
Is it?
I think so.
I know it's been around for a few years.
Yeah.
I've looked at it earlier on, but I haven't done too much with it recently. But
I'm not 100% sure, but it looks a hell of a lot like VS Code to me. So it might be a VS Code fork, but I'm curious about the AI powered version. That would be interesting. Yeah. So cool. All right, moving ahead. I wanted to mention Devin 2.0. So one of the AI agents that I've been playing with is Devin, and it tries to act like it's a real junior developer to join your team. You can put in Slack channels, and it'll read pull requests and try and respond. It has a little VS Code environment you can look at. But they just announced a couple of changes. They actually now they have a $20 a month plan, which is cool because they didn't have that before. And you can actually look at Devin's IDE and look at what he's doing, or what it's doing, I should say, when it's iterating through stuff. And you can edit their workspace. Yeah. So there's that, and then you can do a search across your code base just in general, and that's kind of a lot of these AI tools let you do that. It's not too big of a deal. Like you can search across your code base. You don't have to explain your code base, all that kind of stuff. Not that big of a deal. But I found this other new feature. They have the Devin wiki, kind of cool. So it actually will look at your repo and like generate an entire wiki explaining your entire repo, and and gives you like little diagrams of it and everything. So it's not really a wiki though, because you can't edit it. So it's just more like it'll generate
documentation.
it generates read-only docs, but it's like very, very comprehensive. I did it for one of for the speaker tracks code base for fun. So it's kind of interesting. So yeah, they just came out with all this new stuff. Before it was just the just the agent. Now they're adding other stuff, and the documentation thing is cool, but it's like you can't export it anywhere. It like lives only on the Devin site. It's like it's cool, But in order to be useful beyond like an individual developer or something, it's got to be more than just something that is just in Devin land. But it's still kind of neat to see that stuff. So that's my Devin update, and that actually came out as I was working on my presentation with the old Devin. I was like, oh, it's updated, yay! So that was fun. All right, so I think we got through tools. I know we're kind of over on time, but I think it's probably prudent to ask Josh a couple questions. Josh, number 2.
Hi.
Hi. I have a big question for you, Josh.
Yes, sir.
I've known you a long time. I remember you back at the server-side symposium.
15 plus years ago.
Yeah. But like, how did you end up in like, being like the face of Spring? I mean, essentially that is, I know there are other developer advocates. You're not the only one, but you're the one that people see everywhere. So how did that happen?
Poor people. Look, it was an accident. I'm not, I got offered the job. I think they just wanted to keep me away from committing code. So they put me in marketing, like, I don't know. I was working on Spring integration back in 2010 and 2009, and working with the Spring projects as an external contributor. And the Mark Fisher, the guy who created Spring integration, he came to me and said, "We've got this new thing called the developer advocate." And I'm like, "I don't know what that is. What, is that like James Ward?" I'm like, I couldn't do that. Nah, no thanks. And I hung up the Skype call with him. You remember Skype? Rest in peace. They decommissioned Skype, but I would much prefer they decommissioned Teams and kept Skype. Skype was way better.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. All that to say, he said, "We got this new thing called a developer advocate role. Are you interested?" And I said, "Nah, no thanks, not for me." And I shut down the Skype and walked away to get some coffee. And then 5 minutes later, I ran back and said, "Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. What am I doing? Of course I'll take it. I'll figure it out, And I haven't been fired yet. I don't know why. James Ward was nice enough to meet me. We all know James Ward. James Ward back then was at Adobe, and I knew him. He actually had come to the Phoenix Java user group. And he's just such a good, decent egg, good egg.
Yeah.
And so he met me in San Francisco where he happened to be, and I happened to be there for a separate work trip. And so we sat down and had a cup of coffee, and we weren't really friends. He knew me. I was in the community. He took some time out of his incredibly busy schedule, especially for somebody like him, and he just gave me some good advice, and he told me, don't, just if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And it's been one every all the time. I meet wonderful people like yourselves, and you just how it is. You just get better and better with the enrichment of the community. But that's the theory. I haven't gotten better yet, but I do have this. I have no one to blame but myself. Is my point. I have this amazing community helping me out along the way, and it all started with the Spring team, which goes to show you sometimes even if you're a terrible engineer like me, there's still a job for you if you work on open source, right? They'll just give you the job to keep you away from engineering.
I gotta say, Josh, what I've always appreciated about you is that you're not like an arrogant person. Like, and I appreciate it. I've always like there are some people.
I'm the most humble man I know.
Exactly.
This is actually why I like all you guys are, because you don't spend a lot of time talking about how great you are. You just are just great in spite of yourself, which is great.
The only person I spend a lot of time talking about is Dr. Subramani. Like, I have love that guy.
Yeah,
he's a humble dude too.
Yeah,
he's just he's not just humble. He's actually a decent, kind. It's really grating because he's really nice. Like, he's actually that absurdly nice, as the 4 of us here on this call know. But I'm just, for people in the ecosystem, if you're thinking this guy's like gets off stage and is just an asshole or something, no, he's actually just this really, really great person, and it does help with the anxiety. There's no.
And since you're mentioning that, not only with him, but with lots of people, almost everybody at a Java conference, especially if you want to go up to a speaker such as yourself, Josh, after talk
Mm.
and ask a question, these individuals will give you all they've got, and it's great. It's a very good experience. If you haven't been to a Java conference and you want to learn more, and this is definitely a great place to do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I actually, when I go, like, especially, it's funny, like when we're at a conference, lunch reminds me of like being in high school or something.
It's nice.
But what I do, I just look for a table with like other attendees because I want to talk to the attendees to find out like what are they working on, what's interesting, do they like the conference, like whatever,
Yeah.
So
100%. But I'm also the guy who's like, I want to sit with the attendees, but also if I see Kito, like, hey man, come sit with us. Like I'm trying to get the cool kids to sit at my table,
yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's why I don't know about your excuse, but I mentioned earlier the forcing function. The podcast is such a great excuse to like get a chance and because we're all so busy. It's just, and I don't and none of it. I don't begrudge any of us our busyness. We're all super busy. But if you say, hey, let's have a podcast, then there's a professional out there, right? Like you're like, this was good for you. It'll promote, people will engage with your brand, whatever. But also just we get to chill and hang out, and I love hanging out with y'all. I love this amazing community. Any chance I can take to do that is a-okay by me.
Yeah, I think that's certainly how we feel. Like whenever I'm like, oh man, like this podcast takes up so much time. I'm like, wait a second, it's actually fun to do it. Like,
right.
So
sometimes you learn something. Sometimes you invite me. They're not the same, but still,
it's all good. So Danno, you had a couple questions here. Pick one.
Oh yeah, some of these are pretty long, so I think we're close to wrapping up. I'll just choose one here. The term vibe coding, BS, waste of time because it creates terrible code, or is it a real thing? What do you think, Josh Long?
Well, I mean, I'm actually curious to hear your responses, but okay, for people who don't know, it's this idea that you're just gonna explore the space like Christopher Walken in that Saturday Night Live sketch, right?
That's right.
Just
Gentlemen,
let the music take
I
you
want
where
you
it
to
goes.
explore your space. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Explore
got a
the space,
fever.
man. And I need more cowbell. It's just the idea you're gonna like write code with a Copilot / AI assistant, or what we used to do, pair programming. And look, there's some room for that. I mean, obviously we do exploratory programming, right? It's not a joke. But I don't know. Any serious engineer knows that you got to think at least a little bit about the approach before you begin the landing. Like you can't just like figure it out. There's gonna be some. I'm not saying big design up front. I'm not. This is not me saying bring back hey boomer, bring back rational rows or whatever. Like I'm not that guy. But also come on, like just think about it a little bit. It's okay, and then you'll get a lot better results, especially with these AIs. They don't know what they're doing. They barely have memory, right? Like they're when they're at their best, they are a focused application of your direction. And if you don't have direction, what hope do they have?
Right.
They'll send you in circles. I don't know. Vibe coding. I mean, vibe. You wouldn't accept that if somebody said I'm going to do a vibe airplane landing, right? Like that would be completely unacceptable. Why are we okay with this in any other context?
Well, what's I guess I need to like
vibe open heart surgery.
So is it like just like if you build it now, because I was talking to a couple people at Archive AI who were doing apps using AI stuff, especially people who are more back end. They're all thrilled that they can make a UI with prompts. All right, so sorry, my wife texted me. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so one person had built he every few years he rebuilds this application to manage his personal finances using the technology he wants to play with. And this time he did it all with like what is it? Klein, I think.
Yep.
Just by prompts, just saying do this, hey this, but he's a .NET guy, so he was specific about, hey, I want you to do this particular thing, use the .NET Core to do this, but I don't know if that counts as vibe. But no, he specifically was trying not to touch the code because that's part of his experiment, right? So everything he's doing is prompts. The code doesn't look that great, but it works.
But he knows that because he's a coder.
Exactly.
He knows what bad code looks like.
Right.
Even if iOS and Android aren't his forte, he can look at that and go, okay, this isn't compiling for some definition of compile. you know,
Hmm.
or whatever, right? The idea that you can just vibe code your way to like you. Did you hear about that guy, that person that vibe coded a program, and of course all the secrets were leaked in the config files that were in the GitHub, like his Amazon account was leaked and all that. I mean, just
Oh my God.
you gotta have
Yay!
some. Come on,
Free AWS.
yeah,
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
When someone leaks their secrets, everything is free tier.
yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, yeah, like I could say more, but we'll be here forever.
We all agree we want that to be a possibility, right? I just don't know if it's. Let's not sell that Kool-Aid yet.
I know that I want that to be a possibility, to be honest. I don't know. Just a lot of us play music, right? With that, you can vibe, right?
Yeah, jam
But yeah, you can
jam
just.
coding.
But I guess if the point of it is to be enjoyed and just have fun, then it's fine.
Go for it.
The point of it is
Sure.
to work and make money, or fulfill an actual need beyond you and your own personal stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, you do your thing, but just don't tell us it's the best way to production. Come, like, that's what I find so
Yeah.
grating. Is like you've discovered how to waste time. All right, well, good on you. You know.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I have one last thing to say about this, which is that actually at Archive AI, one of the attendees I met is one of Venkat's students. He's a junior. I forgot his name. I would say to her, remember, but I was like interested because I'm like, you are actually learning how to program in the age of AI, like in the early ages of AI coding assistant, which is kind of unique. Like there's only going to be one set of kids like that, that go through that, because the next one it'll be at a different stage, right? So
Right.
yeah, and then I was like, it really does seem to me like he's not used to writing code without a coding system. Like he doesn't really know. And he does learn stuff, obviously, when he uses the coding system based on what they do. And he doesn't vibe code everything. He'll edit the stuff, but it's like, I don't think he knows, like, I don't think he's familiar with like starting projects from scratch, and stuff.
It's interesting.
Doing stuff without using the assistant to help him do things. He does a lot of hackathons and everything. So I was like, this is going to be interesting to see, and that may be fine, because most people don't start projects from scratch when you think about it.
Even me, I'm famously, I go to start.spring.io. I don't even do I haven't handcrafted a Maven pom.xml and done make-dir -p source main Java.
Right.
source main
Everyone looks
resources.
for some sort of starter project or something to get started with, and then you have some basic structure, right? So
Right.
That's why Ruby on Rails sold well. Is like, wait, you can give me a program that'll run in 30 seconds? Oh, okay. Tangent. I completely agree with what you're saying. That's a very weird place we're in right now. It's good that you noted that. But also that Arc of AI, I think that was a good show. That was Dr. Subramaniam, about whom we've spoken. Let's rename the podcast the Dr. Subramaniam Appreciation Club, please. But anyway, that was his show. Just for anybody out there who gets a chance to attend it again, do make sure you refresh your browser and see if that's if they're selling tickets for whatever the next edition is.
Yeah, it'll be next year sometime, but yeah, I don't know if it's for sale yet. But yes, you definitely should go. It's a great conference.
Or Dev2 Next. I hear that's going to be done. It's on again this year.
Yes, that's in September in Colorado, right?
Colorado Springs this year.
Yeah,
Nice.
cool. All right, so let's move on to picks. CodeSandbox. Whose was that? Is that yours, Danno?
That's Josh Juno here.
Okay.
And CodeSandbox is just it almost looks like what you showed earlier. Honestly, Kito, with code right on your screen. These are sandboxes that you can set up. Basically, what they're kind of trying to publicize now is that you can spin up AI agents in these different sandboxes, but you can basically use it to, if you want to start off with Angular or, React or any of these front ends or even back end frameworks, you can go ahead and just spin up a Code Stack Sandbox or Code Sandbox, and you can just start working with that thing right in your browser. And it's pretty nifty how quickly you can get going. These all run separate so that you can actually set these environments up to talk to each other and do things and integrate with CI/CD, however you want to do it. It's pretty nice. So just a quick drop in the box for you there to check out Code Sandbox to start working on some different things.
Very cool. All right, Danno.
Yo, all right. Let's. One of the things I've been doing, one of my goals is to do a technical talk in Spanish, and I know Spanish, but it really degraded over time because I don't get to practice with anyone. So I decided, you know what? Whenever I use AI, I'm going to talk to AI using a foreign language. And so the way I go about it is, I speak a certain language, in this case, Spanish, but anyone can do this in whatever language that you like, just interact and just make it a rule. I'm just going to interact with my AI using this language. So if you're ever looking for that immersion, this is a lot cheaper than going to a country and getting your immersion that way. You just interact with your AI. So one of the things that I do is I'll ask a question, I'll remind the AI, please respond by correcting my question, so that way I learn from it before answering. And so nice little life hack there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. All right, so we talked about gatherers for J, which sounds awesome. I had one, and I was intrigued. So on Reddit, there's this AI art forum that I follow just to see what the hell people are doing. And some person realized that you could get ChatGPT to make portraits of your pets and as people. So this person took their cats and then gave it a specific prompt. And then it showed them their people version of their cats. And I was like, oh, that is really funny. So there's a link in the show notes, but like there's a few people that like put a cat version, like the people versions.
No, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I was like, I have like a tortoise and a parrot and stuff. So I'm curious to see what they're like. So yeah, people try to.
I don't know whether to enjoy this or crawl into a fetal position at this new dystopian world.
This is a good one. The parrots.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, so you can actually take a picture of a pet and then have ChatGPT give you a humanized version of it. I'm assuming you can do the opposite too. I'm curious to see how that would go. So
wow. All right. There goes my productivity. Thank you.
All right. And Josh already talked about it. See, Josh's picks were just integrated throughout our amazing talk.
You spread them out because you concentrate the picks and yeah, bad things can happen.
I have two other small picks because you just reminded me of one, which is, have you all been that's that thing you just showed is based on this, I imagine. Basically, a few weeks ago, ChatGPT announced the ability to render photos in cartoon style, right?
Oh, right.
And so
the Ghibli one has been all
Studio
throughout the
Ghibli
news.
or whatever it's Ghibli, and then you can do Rick and Morty, you can do Simpsons, you can do whatever, right? So that's a lot of fun. Take a photo, say, okay, please render, paste it into ChatGPT's app, and say, please render this in the style of X, right? Some beautiful photos, really cute, really fun. That's part one. And then part two is, I've been on this kick trying to like secure all the things in my life. And so Spring, this all started last year. Spring Security announced support for pass keys, right? So now I can do like Face ID and I can log into my web app, or I can do a fingerprint and log into the web app, right? Or magic links, one-time tokens. You can email somebody, email somebody like a link, and they click on the link and they're logged into the Spring Security secured app. Whatever. Okay. So I say, okay, I had to learn just enough about passkeys to appreciate how cool it was. So then I went down this like rabbit hole, and I use a password manager. I use Bitwarden. You can use 1Password, I guess, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Or LastPass or whatever, something. And so one of the things I do is I'd like to keep my Git commits signed, right? And I also have an authentication key. So each time I do a Git clone for certain repositories, I have to like enter the key. I have to enter the passphrase for the key on my local machine. Well, now that's all in Bitwarden. And then that in turn is integrated with my watch. So now I can do things like going to certain websites that are SSO validated or whatever, or Git cloning or Git committing and pushing. I do Git push, and then my watch chirps at me. I hit OK, and then it authenticates for me.
Nice.
It's just Star Trekky,
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and then with Spring Security, you can also same thing. You can have an app that, like, imagine you build an app that, and you can use Spring Security with anything that supports HTTP. Imagine you have an app that, because you could store these passkeys in Bitwarden or LastPass or whatever. So imagine you have an app that you're in the library, the common example. You don't trust the library computer. Fine. So you go to this website. It says, okay, register a passkey. You can scan it with your phone. Then on your iPhone, which you do trust, it'll offer you. It'll say, okay, do you want to approve this passkey? You do the double click and it shows your face, or you whatever, right? Or you approve with your watch, and then it registers the passkey. Now you go back to that same website and do log in. And either if you do trust the computer, you can do like fingerprint, or Face ID, or if you have a YubiKey or an Android device or whatever their equivalent thing is. But also you can also just scan the QR code on your phone if you don't trust it, and it'll log you in as well. So like I guess what I'm trying to say is my pick is it's not hard now to avoid passwords in all the places where you use them, from everything from Git committing to pushing them to logging into web apps that you build and deploy. It's every browser supports this. It's easy to do in JavaScript now and across all the browsers. And so frameworks like Spring Security support it as well. It's really satisfying to have your watch be the way you log into a website, is what I'm trying to say, or your phone or your thumbprint or whatever.
Yeah, I started enabling that on some sites, but I've never implemented it before, so that's kind of cool to see.
We should call me.
Nice. All right.
Can I show you my dog that I want to see what he would look like as a human?
Sure.
He's a terrible dog. Okay, let me see if I can. Oops. Okay. Isn't he glorious?
Yes.
Look at that creature.
He's so stupid. Oh, like, what is he doing? Why? We walked in on him, and it's like, are we disturbing you, pal? Like, what are you doing?
Nice.
He just walked into the office. He's asleep in the sun,
Okay.
a meter away from me.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up. If you listen to this podcast, you may like our sister podcasts on the Pubhouse Network, Off Heap, or the Java Pubhouse. You can find them all at pubhouse.net, including this one. And we have some events coming up, which other people have added other than me. So, Danno, take us.
New England Software Symposium, May 2nd to 3rd.
Devbox UK, 7th to 9th, in Quiet Phone. And that is, where's that? May. Yes, in the UK. Right. Code Remix. This is a J1 as well. Code Remix Summit.
Yeah, Code Remix Summit Miami. Yeah, you got to say it in a Cuban accent there.
Now, what does that mean? What is Code Remix?
It's
I
modern.
think it has to do with a lot of the open rewrite stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I have seen that on the Modern site. Yeah. Code Remix one. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what that one is, and it's in beautiful Miami, May 12th through 14th. Bring your swimsuits over because it's gonna be muy sexy.
And then there's the Great Lakes Software Symposium.
Yeah, and Chicago. Sorry, I didn't see that one. May 16th through 17th.
All right, and Chicago, and then Spring AI.net. This is yours, Josh. That's in Barcelona, right?
Sorry, what?
Spring IO.
Yep, Barcelona.
2025.
21 to 23 May.
With a different kind of Spanish there. Yeah.
if you can, we should see if we can get Ian to go to that.
Yeah.
Wow, he's right there.
He's in
Yeah.
Spain. I'm not sure how far away he is from our
Or
show.
he's in Canada. I have one of those.
He lives in.
Sometimes those are. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
UberConf, 4 days, I think, 4 or 5 days. Anyways, it's a big long week at UberConf where we have a lot of sessions. It's the flagship for No Fluff Just Stuff in Denver, Colorado, July 15th through 18th. Particularly useful if you live in the southern side of the US and you're tired of 110-degree temperatures. Come on over. It's going to be around 80s. Then, Central Iowa, September 5th through 6th. Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, September 12th through 13th. Nova at September 19th through 20th. And Pacific Northwest, aka Seattle, October 10th through 11th.
Great. And what else did we have here? Oh yes.
Spring 1 in hot Vegas. Look at that.
25 to 28 August. That'll be
Awesome.
fun.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, that's actually a summer conference. You don't see this too often.
Not very often.
Oh.
It's come for the spring, stay for the the show.
Yes. Then Dr. Subramanian's Deputy Next is in Colorado in September 29th through October 2nd.
Beautiful.
And then DevBox Belgium, which
First one.
they never accept my talks anymore. It's not cool enough.
Yeah, my thing on like international talks, I'm not Josh Long, and that's okay. So when I submit,
You're better, but
it's tough as because some of you have like backing companies that can pay for your trip, and I do not. So usually I ask for like flights and other things like that. So based on my demands, I usually get a no, and that's okay. I'm happy with
right.
US conferences.
But I do know DevBox Belgium is an awesome conference because I remember. So that's October 6th through 10th in the fall.
Yeah. And European conferences are filled up. So
Yes.
that's the thing about European conferences. I don't know what's going on. US conferences, I think, still are suffering a bit. But European conferences, if you are going to be interested, get in on that quickly because they fill up fast.
Yeah, and I will say, like, if you're in the States and you hear about a conference, even if it's local, just go. It's I mean, if you can, obviously.
Right.
But they're a great way to meet people and learn stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Of course.
all right. Well, I think we've come to another marathon episode. Come to the end of another marathon episode of Stackd. And Josh, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun.
thank you for having me. It's super. Wait, can we take a selfie?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, pretend like you're happy, everybody. Ready, steady, say open source.
Open source.
Awesome.
Woohoo.
Thank you. Can I
Wow.
tweet that? Do you accept my GDPR cookies?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
What's tweet?
I don't know. No, not tweet. Blue Skeet. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Can I
a
socialize?
Oh yeah, the blue sky. Yeah, cool.
Okay,
Can
yeah,
I-
that's good.
Yeah.
Cool. And LinkedIn. I don't know what it's called on LinkedIn.
Much better.
Lunked. I don't know.
It's good.
Yep. Cool. Excellent.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And we will see you again one day soon. So,
Ciao.
all right. Adios.